The story starts with an old race car named Herbie, who was the best race car of his time and kept winning every competition. Herbie and his owner could easily get to many difficult places together. But one day, Herbie had a really bad accident, and after that, he started losing every single competition. Eventually, his owner decided to send him to the junkyard. That day, Herbie met Dave, the owner of the junkyard, but Herbie totally didn't like him. Then the truck driver told Dave not to mess with Herbie because this car absolutely hates being disrespected. When Dave went to unload Herbie from the truck, Herbie spilled gasoline all over his shoes. The driver pushed Herbie from behind, and Dave started pulling him with chains. At first, Herbie tried really hard not to move forward, but suddenly he saw a way out, so he seized the chance and zoomed off. But during that, his tires got stuck in some metal spikes and went flat. Now, Herbie had no choice but to stay there with the other junk cars. He knew that in a few days, he would also be crushed and destroyed. Totally gone. A few weeks after Herbie, we see a girl named Maggie Payton who arrived at her graduation on a skateboard. Her dad was super happy for her because Maggie was the first girl in their family to complete her graduation. Looks like a pretty studious family. Maggie's dad, Ray, was a race car coach, and he called Maggie to watch her brother, Ray Jr.'s race. When they both got there, they met Ray Jr.'s sponsor, Shelley. But as usual, Ray Jr. crashed again while turning the car. Actually, Ray Jr. was preparing for a professional racing competition, but the problem was he just didn't have the racing talent. Anyway, later when Maggie came home, she saw the paintings on the wall, which reminded her of her grandpa. He was the best racer of his time. Inspired by him, Maggie also started racing when she was 15 years old. She also wanted to make a name for herself in the racing world, just like her grandpa. But one day, Maggie had an accident, and then everything changed. After that, her dad completely forbade her from racing. Anyway, her dad said that tomorrow morning they would go buy Maggie's graduation gift. The next morning, Maggie and Ray went to the junkyard so Maggie could pick out a car she liked. That's when Herbie spotted Maggie and decided he wanted to go home with her. Herbie tried to get closer to Maggie, but without a rear tire, he couldn't even budge. At that very moment, Herbie was picked up to be crushed. To save himself, Herbie started honking loudly, hoping Maggie would notice him. But Maggie was focused on a Nissan car parked right in front of her. She was about to seal the deal with Dave when, at the last second, Herbie broke free from the crane and crashed right onto the Nissan, completely smashing that car. Finally, Maggie had no other choice, so she decided to buy Herbie. After bringing Herbie home, Ray did some minor repairs and told Maggie to take him to Kevin's garage. When Maggie sat inside Herbie, she pulled out a letter from the dashboard. It was from Herbie's old owner. It said to take good care of Herbie. But as soon as Maggie started the car, it took off on its own, completely out of control, and Maggie got super scared. It drove straight into Kevin's garage. Today, Maggie was meeting her old school friend Kevin after many years. Kevin had liked Maggie since their school days, but he could never bring himself to tell her how he felt. Anyway, he said he could fix Herbie up nicely, but for that, he'd have to take Herbie for a test drive. When Maggie and Kevin set out for the drive, Herbie was spewing a ton of smoke all over the road. Annoyed by this, Maggie decided to turn back. But Herbie wasn't having any of that. He lifted his front tires and sped off, completely out of Maggie's control. Now he drove straight to a sports car museum where Maggie ran into Trip, a guy from her school class. Trip was the next Cup champion, which is why a crowd gathered around to see him. Meanwhile, Herbie kept honking, so Maggie opened his hood to shut him up, but at that moment, Herbie squirted gasoline on her, ruining her clothes. And just then, Kevin found a racing suit and helmet in the trunk, so Maggie put on the suit. When Trip saw Maggie's car, he laughed at its beat-up condition and told Maggie to take that car back to the circus. Hearing this, Herbie got mad and scratched Trip's car with his mirror. Seeing this, Trip became furious, so the people around suggested they settle the matter with a race. Maggie tried to get out of the car and apologize to Trip, but Herbie locked all the windows and doors himself and drove straight onto the track. Soon, Hobby revved up and the race kicked off. Maggie tried to control Hobby, but Hobby was already out of control. When Hobby, despite being an older car, caught up to Tripp's car, Tripp tried to ram them off the track. That's when Maggie got really mad, and she decided to beat Tripp. Instead of trying to control Hobby, she decided to go with the flow, and together they caught up to Tripp again. Tripp tried to ram them again, but this time Hobby pulled off a super clean move, which left Tripp totally shocked. They were now close to the finish line, so Hobby climbed up the side safety barrier and won the race by just a split second. After the race, Tripp was furious because he'd been beaten by a total jalopy. Anyway, later, Maggie went to the garage and told Kevin that she didn't win that race. Hobby won it on its own. But Kevin didn't really listen to her and just congratulated her on the win. The craziest part was that Maggie had beaten the Castell Cup champion in a car from 1963. Then, the next morning, Maggie saw her dad and brother fighting. Apparently, because of Ray Jr.'s bad performance, they lost another sponsor. Just then, Sally arrived at their house in her yellow Beetle, and Hobby fell in love with her the moment it saw her. Sally showed Ray the video of yesterday's race, and Ray was shocked to see Maggie winning such a race with that old clunker. But he was pretty angry that Maggie had entered the race even after he told her not to. Then, to calm them down, Maggie said that it wasn't her driving the car, but her friend Max. From then on, Maggie decided she would race under Max's name. Meanwhile, Tripp was super bummed about his loss. His manager, Larry, tried to explain that one regular race doesn't matter much. But this time it was a blow to Tripp's ego, so he said he wanted to race again. He told his team to organize a 2-day race competition because he knew that Max, who he knew was actually Maggie, would definitely show up. When Maggie got to Kevin's garage, he showed her his new project. He was going to transform Hobby into a brand new race car. But Maggie said she couldn't race anymore because years ago, after her accident, she'd promised her dad she'd never race again. Just then, Hobby spotted an ad in the newspaper for a racing competition where the winner would get $10,000. As soon as Maggie got in the car, Hobby shook its hood, making the newspaper fly right onto the windshield. When Maggie saw that the race winner would get a full $10,000, she realized that money could cover her trip to New York. Then Kevin said that if Maggie agreed to race, he would fix Hobby for free, and if she won, they'd split the prize evenly. Even though Maggie was still scared, she still agreed to enter the race. After that, they both got busy transforming Hobby into a race car. After washing Hobby, they replaced some of its parts. During this, Kevin also installed a sunroof in Hobby. Meanwhile, Tripp and his buddy Crash were trying to figure out Hobby's mystery. Tripp wanted to know what was so special about this car. What kind of engine was hidden inside it? It even defeated Tripp's supercar. That night, Maggie overheard Ray and Sally talking. Sally said she'd heard a rumor that they were about to lose their last investor. Hearing this, Maggie decided she had to win that race and get the prize no matter what. Finally, the new race day arrived, and Tripp was stunned to see Hobby's awesome new look. He asked Maggie how she had met Max, so Maggie tried to distract him with small talk. Just then, Kevin arrived and took control of the situation. Soon, the first round of the race began, with lots of cars participating, but only one could win. Then it was announced that whoever won this race would compete against Tripp's car tomorrow, and if they beat Tripp too, they'd get $10,000 as a prize. After that, the race started, and in the end, Hobby used its incredible power to beat everyone and win. Now, it would compete against Tripp's car tomorrow. That evening, Tripp was watching the video of today's race when he saw red hair peeking out from Max's helmet, and he realized that Max was actually Maggie. Meanwhile, Hobby was drawn to the yellow Beetle again as soon as it saw it. When Maggie saw that, she understood that Hobby had a mind of its own, and she just had to accept it. Then Kevin gave Maggie a necklace as a good luck gift.
They were just about to kiss when Tripp totally ruined the moment by flashing his headlights from behind and driving right up to them. He told Kevin that he wanted to have a private chat with Maggie. After Kevin left, Tripp asked Maggie why she didn't race with her own car. Tripp explained that he actually started racing because he was inspired by Maggie's grandpa. Then he asked Maggie if she wanted to try driving a real race car. He handed Maggie his car keys and she was absolutely thrilled. Meanwhile, Hobby was super jealous watching this because Maggie was ditching him to get into another car. As soon as Maggie drove off in the supercar, Tripp seized the chance to check Hobby's engine. But Hobby, wanting to teach him a lesson, sprayed gasoline right in his face and then slammed the hood down on his head. So Tripp got super mad, pulled a hammer out of his toolbox, and started hitting Hobby really hard. But Hobby had made his body so tough that he didn't even get a single scratch. The moment Tripp turned away, Hobby made a weird face and started teasing him. In just a few moments, Maggie returned from her drive and said it was the best drive of her life. Then Tripp made a deal, saying that whoever won tomorrow's race would get $10,000 plus the loser's car. At first, Maggie hesitated, but then she remembered her dad's situation and immediately agreed to the bet. She knew Tripp's car was super expensive and she could sell it to help her dad. She was also super confident she'd win the race with Hobby, so she took the bet. But when Hobby realized that Maggie had actually put a bet on him, he felt pretty sad about it. Anyway, the next morning when Maggie woke up, she saw her friend Charisma in the kitchen. Charisma said they should have already left for New York. But Maggie told her that she had to go to a race competition today. She also asked Charisma to come along with her. Then they both arrived at Kevin's garage, where Kevin told them that Hobby was acting pretty weird. He asked Maggie to talk to the car, and when Maggie angrily told Hobby that it had to obey her, Hobby got even angrier. Anyway, when it was race time, Hobby and Tripp's car were both ready to go. As soon as the race started, Hobby sped forward, but Tripp's car kept zooming past him. Just as they were about to hit the finish line, Hobby slammed on the brakes and deliberately lost the race. Right then, Maggie stepped out of the car, and Tripp told her to show everyone her real face. As soon as she took off her helmet, everyone was totally shocked to see her. Just then, her dad, Ray, also spotted her. Maggie was super mad because Hobby had lost. So Kevin calmed her down and told her to leave with Hobby, but then Tripp showed up and told her about a new deal. After that, he took Hobby for himself. Kevin angrily left after that, and then Ray came over to talk to Maggie. He was really disappointed with Maggie because she had just kept lying to him. Maggie tried to explain things to her dad, but he wasn't willing to listen. Annoyed by all this, Maggie decided to go to New York with Charisma right away. But Charisma convinced her that she shouldn't just waste her racing talent. Finally, Maggie realized this and went to get her car back from Tripp. But Tripp said his friend Crash had taken Hobby out for a drive. But the truth was, Hobby was actually stuck in a master track competition where he was about to be totally wrecked. As soon as the show started, several massive vehicles began slamming into Hobby all at once. Seeing him, Maggie immediately ran to help, but the security guards blocked her way. Then she went to the owner of the place and said she wanted to buy her car back. Then the old man said if the car came back in one piece, she could have it for free. Just then, a monster truck rolled up, ready to smash Hobby to bits. Meanwhile, Charisma distracted the security guard, so Maggie seized her chance and dropped down into the arena. Now she had to dodge all those huge cars and get to Hobby. As soon as Hobby saw Maggie, it got super happy and saw a ray of hope, but suddenly a monster truck was about to fall on them. But then Hobby quickly got over Maggie, pulled her inside through the sunroof, and saved her life. After that, he threw Crash out of the driver's seat, and then Maggie and Hobby started working together to get out of there. Hobby was dodging every car that came his way, but then a monster truck appeared from behind ready to crush him. Then Hobby climbed onto another car, leaped into the air, and landed right on top of the monster truck. After beating all the other cars, Maggie took Herbie straight to Kevin's workshop. When he saw Herbie's condition, he was pretty freaked out, but he still got to work repairing him. Then the next day, they both went to watch Ray Jr.'s race, but he got into another accident this time too. When he was taken to the hospital, they found out he was having trouble seeing out of his left eye. The doctor then said he absolutely couldn't participate in the race on Sunday. So Ray Jr. told his dad to let Maggie take his place in the race, but Ray flat out refused. But then Maggie said it had been her dream since childhood to become a racer. She asked her dad why he wouldn't let her race just because of one accident, while her brother had so many accidents, yet he never stopped him. Ray got emotional and said, "You look just like your mom. I've lost her once, and I don't want to lose you again." Meanwhile, Kevin needed some parts to fix Herbie, but his supplier said he wouldn't get new stuff until he paid off his old balance. At that moment, Ray Jr. came over and told his sister to take his place in the NASCAR competition, but Maggie said she would only race with Herbie. So her brother called his whole team to fix Herbie, and in no time, they all worked together to make Herbie look brand new. After that, they painted Herbie and gave him a fresh new look. Then on Sunday, Tripp arrived at the stadium for the NASCAR competition and was shocked to see Herbie there. He asked Crash why Herbie hadn't been torn to pieces even after he told him to. Then Larry told Tripp that he'd landed a new ad contract, but at that moment, none of that mattered to Tripp. Meanwhile, before the race, Maggie talked to Herbie and apologized to him. After that, they decided to work together and entered the field as one, with all eyes on them. At that moment, Ray saw Maggie on TV and got pretty scared because he didn't want Maggie to put her life in danger. Meanwhile, on the track, all the racers changed their steering wheels, and then everyone did a test drive to warm up. As soon as the race started, everyone's car sped off quickly. But Herbie and Maggie were left quite far behind, though they quickly started picking up speed too. During this time, Ray also decided to go straight to the stadium to watch his daughter race. In the race, Tripp was in the lead, but in a short while, Herbie also got close to him. Suddenly, the other cars surrounded them, and Maggie couldn't find a way to get ahead. But then Maggie heard her dad's voice, and he said that Maggie had all the ability to win this race. Hearing his words, Maggie was filled with determination and slowly broke free from the circle of cars. But now the problem was that Herbie's fuel tank was leaking, and without fixing it, they couldn't win the race. After that, during the pit stop, the mechanics did fix the tank leak. But now Herbie's condition was such that if he got even one more hit, he wouldn't be able to finish the race. After that, the race started again, and this time they were right next to Tripp. Now both cars were running side by side, and they were just a short distance from victory. Tripp tried to hit Herbie, and during that, the sticker on Herbie's tank came off. Then, just as Tripp tried to hit them again, Maggie slammed on the brakes at the last second, making Tripp's car crash straight into the wall. But Herbie climbed onto the side fans, performing dangerous stunts, moving forward and getting ahead of all the other cars. Finally, they won the race, and with that, Maggie became the first female winner of the NASCAR championship. She celebrated this victory with her family and friends, while Tripp, fuming with anger, was saying that this car is haunted. It won on its own, and the driver doesn't even know how to drive it. Finally, after many years of waiting, Kevin finally kissed Maggie, and then Maggie thanked him for his help. A few weeks later, we see Ray telling Herbie to come home early because a very big race was coming up in a few days. Meanwhile, Herbie also went out for a drive with his girlfriend, Beetle, that night.